Karine, I've got to tell you something. I'm sorry. No one on your side is going to say it to you. I'm going to tell you the truth. They all think you're an idiot. That is why you were ignored repeatedly off every time. That is why you feel so disempowered and like they are not prioritizing black women. They actually do like black women within the Democratic Party. You got to give them that. Just not you. Sorry, just not you. You're too dumb. Everyone knows the only reason you got that job is for the two things you keep mentioning about yourself. I'm black and I'm queer. That's it. That's all you have to offer. And now literally no one wants to take your advice or your thoughts on anything. They gave you the courtesy of these interviews to promote your book because you're on Team Blue, but no one can believe how inane all of your comments are. You've either pissed off the Democratic Party or you've confused them. You've definitely confused us. Here is Karine Jean-Pierre actually having the nerve to take a shot at Caroline Leavitt, who I think it's fair to say is the GOAT of press secretaries. The nerve. Watch here.
Because they don't seem to understand, this is the Trump White House, that they don't work for just one man.
Yeah.
They work for the American people.
Yeah.
It is about coming together about a common good.
Yeah.
The White House press secretary is not about doing online trolling.
Right.
It is not. It is an honor and a privilege to have that job and to speak on behalf of the most powerful person in the world. And there is a level of respect for the freedom of the press.
Right.
Even if you don't, if you disagree with them.
Yeah.
And that is what that whole back and forth, when you see in the press briefing room, is about. It shows that we believe in democracy.
Yeah.
It shows the world, not just here, but the world. That the press is going to do what they need to do to hold us accountable, and we're going to do what we need to do to communicate to the American people about what we're doing.
You had James Rosen ejected from the White House briefing room for 8 months for asking one question about Joe Biden's mental acuity, which was the political story of the decade. And one reporter asked one question about it. He was ejected for the better part of a year from ever asking another question again. You coordinated with reporters by actually submitting questions in advance quite clearly to the White House. We saw them written out and then funneled them to an enfeebled Joe Biden, who then worked cosplaying with the reporter as though something real was happening. You reportedly had meltdowns, Karine, according to White House staffers speaking out to Politico and others about you, when questions were asked that you hadn't been given in advance in any interview. That's how inept this person is. And then, Stu, the nerve to try to lecture Caroline Leavitt on staying truthful from the White House podium. Let me just take you for a little walk down memory lane. Here's June 17th, 2024.
Yeah, and I think you all have called this the cheap fakes video, and that's exactly what they are. They are cheap fakes video. They are done in bad faith, and some of your news organization have been very clear, have stressed that these the right wing critics of the president have a credibility problem because of the fact checkers have repeatedly caught them pushing misinformation, disinformation, and so we see this, and this is something coming from your part of the world, calling them cheap fakes and misinformation. Instead of talking about the president's performance in office, and what I mean by that is his legislative wins, what he's been able to do for the American people across the country, we're seeing these deep fakes, these manipulated videos, and it is, again, done in bad faith.
My head hurts. Go ahead, Stu.
They all now will admit, outside of Karine Jean-Pierre at least, that those were lies, that all of this stuff was happening. We were right the entire time we were saying it. And we were supposed to be the bad ones. We were the evil conspiracy theorists. We were the people who were going against the truth. Now, most of the time there, she was reading that response. Honestly, for most of her time in office, there was no real reason to have a press secretary when we could have had Siri do it and just read the text to us every single day. But like, it's funny to look at this. Now I'm not a big believer in conspiracy theories, Megyn, but I will let you in that I do believe one conspiracy theory, which is I believe Karine Jean-Pierre has that job specifically because she was hand-chosen by Jen Psaki to make Jen Psaki look good. I think because you think about Jen Psaki right now, you think, in comparison, she was actually pretty good. That's how, every time I bring this up, that's what people say. They're like, oh yeah, she was all right. No, she wasn't. She wasn't good either. But in comparison to Karine Jean-Pierre, she was such a mastermind that I think she put this person in for not only, of course, fact, and I don't know if you're aware of this, Megyn, that she's a black woman who's LGBTQ.
Yes.
That's part of it. But also, I think this was a long-term plot by Jen Psaki to make Jen Psaki look good.
It's exactly how like the first wife hopes the husband's second wife turns out to be a total shrew. Every woman wants that when she gets a divorce. Like I not me, I'm friends with my ex-husband, but that makes perfect sense. She had to search the world around to find somebody dumber and more dishonest than she was. And she stumbled onto this girl. She was like, cha-ching, pay dirt. There was more denials about Biden's mental acuity. I don't have any more appetite for it. But then she decided on The View to rip on Trump's adding a ballroom to the White House. Now, can I tell you something? I'm kind of shocked there isn't a ballroom already in the White House. I don't know the White House that well, but aren't you kind of shocked there's not already a ballroom? Like, there should be a ballroom. Like, he's hosting dignitaries. They can have dancing. They can have something, I don't know, like, if you have a ballroom, then you can have a very large gathering in the winter months inside and have tons of press and open it up to more of the people. I'm thinking about just when we went for Charlie's Presidential Medal of Freedom, which was a week ago today, we had it in the Rose Garden and we barely fit in the Rose Garden. That was outside. Inside the White House, it'd be great to have a very large room so you could have more people. That's a plus. That's something every president can use. And that actually will, I think, be a boon to the people. But Karine Jean-Pierre is unhappy about it. It's not costing the taxpayers one dime. He got a bunch of private funding for it, which I think most taxpayers would say, cool, in response to. She thinks it's corrupt. Here she is on that.
I feel like he's been president for 20 years.
No. It's exhausting. That's the point. That's the point.
You're completely different. So what are your thoughts on the demolition?
So, so the People's House is basically being sold to the highest bidder.
Yeah.
It is corruption at its core. And I heard someone say this when I was backstage. It could not be, there's no greater metaphor right now than what's happening right now in this country than watching Donald Trump take a wrecking ball to the White House.
Yeah. Kind of obvious. Yeah.
Okay. She's very upset about the White. Let me just tell you something, okay? I read this on X earlier today. Teddy Roosevelt built the West Wing. Taft made the executive office oval. FDR added the entire East Wing and included an indoor pool for himself. Truman gutted the entire White House. Nixon added a bowling alley. Obama added a basketball court. And Trump is adding a ballroom. Why is this? Why are we having such a meltdown? What is it? I mean, like, where was the meltdown over the basketball court? Why did we have a meltdown when Truman gutted the White House? Like the whole thing? Each president adds something. No one's destroying the East Wing for it never to be rebuilt. He's in construction. He saw a need. He found a way to fund it. And now every president who ever lives there will have an additional space in which to hold events, Stu.
Yeah, it's funny because the point of like, oh, I can't think of a better, personification of what's going on than taking a wrecking ball to the White House. First of all, I don't know who she heard it from backstage. It's funny that she's now admitting that she doesn't even have her own thoughts.
It was on Scarborough this morning. She heard it on Morning Joe, and she refused to give attribution.
Yeah, every left-wing person has tweeted something like this. I've seen that picture on Twitter 100 times already. And but that's not where he's stopping, right? In some ways, it actually kind of is a good microcosm of what Trump is doing right now. He's actually making this bigger and better. He's trying to grow it and making it bigger and better. And you're right. There's a massive use for a ballroom. I was talking to Glenn Beck earlier today. I'm in his studios here. I know you're appearing with him in Fort Worth here in the coming days.
Yeah, this Saturday.
And you should get him to
go buy your
Saturday.
tickets at MegynKelly.com.
I already have mine, Megyn. I don't know what you're talking about. I already have
Awesome.
mine. But you should get him to tell this story because he was with Trump in the White House and they're walking around. He's showing him, and he took Glenn on a tour of the White House and mapped this entire thing out to him, the entire ballroom, where it was going, how he was going to use it. It's fascinating. And, Donald Trump looks at this not because he likes things that are big and gold. I'm sure he does like that, obviously, at some level. But what he really likes about this type of stuff is he likes to project power. Look at the way he's handling the people in the Middle East. He's able to speak their language in a way that previous presidents have not. And he's getting results with that. When these people come to the White House, he wants to be able to project American power. He knows how they see these things, and he's trying to apply it here. I think that is not just some, Trumpian justification. It is legitimately what he's trying to do. And I think look, basketball courts and bowling alleys, every president makes changes to the White House. These are massive changes. Like, you're going to notice it when you look at the back of the White House. It is like a whole new White House is being built next to the old White House. It is a major, major change, but it will be very useful for presidents in the future, and it will do something. It will communicate something to the rest of the world. We're not in decline. We're not in managed decline. This is the golden age. This is what he wants people to believe about America, not just Americans, but the people that come over here that he has to have, deal in diplomacy and negotiations with. It's all part of, I do believe, an actual strategy here. And I think, honestly, future presidents are going to find it quite useful as well.
Yes, I guarantee you, if we get a Democrat elected the next time around, God forbid, that person's not going to undo it. Even if they could get the private funding to undo it, they're not going to say, let's get rid of that terrible ballroom. They're all going to love having it. There's going to be concerts at the White House. There'll be balls at the White House. It'll be fun. It'll be something festive. And sure enough, it'll be someplace to entertain foreign dignitaries who literally are lining up for photo ops with our current resident of the White House. Buy gold and get free silver. That's right. For every $5,000 purchased from Birch Gold Group this month in advance of Veterans Day, they will send you a free patriotic silver round that commemorates the Gadsden and American flags. Look, gold is up over 40% since the beginning of this year, and Birch Gold can help you own it by converting an existing IRA or 401k into a tax-sheltered IRA in physical gold. Plus, they will send you free silver honoring our veterans on qualifying purchases. And if you are current or former military, Birch Gold has a special offer just for you. They are waiving custodial fees for the first year on investments of any amount. With an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau and tens of thousands of happy customers, consider diversifying your savings into gold. Text MK to the number 989898 for a free info kit and to claim your eligibility for free silver, too, with qualifying purchase before the end of the month. Again, text MK to the number 989898. Message and data rates may apply. Thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.